What's going on, you guys? It's your boy PTK Blam back in the building. This time, not on the Shop podcast, as you guys can see, doing a standalone video. And as you guys can see, the title of the video, I really want to take a little bit of a deep dive and kind of elaborate on my expectations for this Xbox Developer Direct. But before we get into that, we got plenty of time to talk about that. I do want to say hit that like button, subscribe if you are new to the channel. If you want to support even further, you can become a member. Join the channel. You get cool things like emojis and all kind of cool stuff that you can do in chat. So shout out to everybody who always supports the channel here at the Shop Podcast, here at PTK Blam's channel. But I appreciate you guys so much, man. But let me go ahead and dive right into the video. Now, as you guys know, there was some huge news this week. We talked about it last night on the Shop Podcast. Shout out to Pong. Shout out to Fuzzy Belvedere. Shout out to our guest too as well, Amon. But we talked about this in detail, in length, last night on the Shop Podcast. And I kind of want to go through it a little bit on my own. I have my own personal thoughts about it. And we'll kind of go from there. So I'm just going to read through this really quickly here, and then we'll dive into some of the more particular stuff. So it said Xbox and Bethesda will present a developer direct on Wednesday, January 25th, providing fans with an inside look at some of the games coming to Xbox, PC, and Game Pass over the next few months. That's next few months is very important. We'll come back to that. Presented by the game creators themselves from studios including Arcane, Austin, Mojang Studios, Turn 10 Studios, and ZeniMax Online Studios, the Developer Direct will focus on big features, extended gameplay showcases, and the latest info for Xbox games launching in the next few months, including The Elder Scrolls Online, Forza Motorsport, Minecraft Legends, and Redfall. To dedicate the proper amount of time for a deep dive into Bethesda Game Studios, Starfield, a standalone show, is in the works. So I will wrap that up there. But I want to kind of elaborate on pretty much that entire paragraph, what that means for me personally, how I interpret that. But one, I do want to start out saying I'm extremely excited for this event. I can't speak for the rest of the community, but I'm extremely excited, and it's a couple things. One, this is exactly what we wanted. Obviously, coming off of the VGAs, there was a lot of shakiness from some, parts of the community regarding, where's Xbox focus, and they weren't at the VGAs. Now, I didn't make a huge deal about it. But ultimately, there was a lot of people that wanted to see them there. It is a gigantic event, and the visibility matters at the end of the day. But after Aaron Greenberg tweeted out that night that they had something planned, and then all of a sudden we're getting this information now, this obviously just confirms everything Aaron said. So we'll get into some of the particulars. One, the first thing I enjoy about this, or what I like about it, is that it's developer led. Now, I have no problem with the format and, the way Xbox does some of their other shows, but something along the lines of this where really we're mainly only watching this just to get the new information regarding a few games, as well as getting some release dates. We don't necessarily need like a actual, like, somebody running, like an influencer or somebody actually running the actual show. Just having the developers, speak about, what they're bringing to the table about the games, it's clear and concise, straight to the horses, from the horse's mouth, and then moving on to a release date and then moving on to the next game. It feels very appropriate. Now, this is something that Xbox has played around with a little bit. They've done this a bunch of different ways. They've tried to go the, content creator or influencer route. They've done that a couple of times and it works. But for events like this, for very narrow focus, let's just focus on 5 or 6 games. This is perfect. Let the developers do the talking. Let the gameplay do the talking as well. The second thing I enjoy about this, as well as that, it was the messaging. And that's one thing we've been back and forth with Xbox and Microsoft about messaging. I don't care what side of the fence you on. At some point, you've been on the other side. So, some people don't have an issue with Xbox's marketing. Some people do. It's great to see that they're extremely transparent. The tweet was super transparent. Look, this is what you're going to see at the show. This is the developers we're showing you. These are the games we're showing you. This is the gameplay we're showing you. By the way, Starfield's not going to be there because Starfield's getting its own thing, which is another thing I'm going to focus on here in a second. But just a clear, concise information, no ifs, ands, or buts, no parsing, no maybe, no well, let the audience figure out what we're trying to do. No, none of that. Just clear, black and white. This is what we're showing. This is going to be elsewhere. And one of the other points I want to make to elaborate on that too is the Starfield thing. Obviously, that's a huge deal. Starfield, Probably, in my opinion, going to be one of the biggest games of the year. I don't really think that's a stretch to say, including, even with Spider-Man 2 coming out and Zelda coming out, Starfield is just going to be that damn big, in my opinion. I think it's going to be able to hold its own, no problem. This is a mainline game. This is Todd Howard and the A team, 25 years in the making. So I have no doubt that, as far as popularity, as far as scale, as far as, the way people view this game is going to be right up there with the other titles. But a game like Starfield absolutely needs its own showcase. We need a super deep dive. We need that Bethesda magic. This is something that they normally do for their mainline games. They did it for Fallout 4. They did it for a lot of previous other games. They always had this little straight, smaller showcase, more focus. And that's what we wanted to see. I mean, if you're into Starfield, this is what you want to see. And I know a lot of Xbox fans want to see the breakdown. We want gameplay footage. We want to see more of what the game has to offer, just to get an idea, just anything to kind of grasp the scope, and where Todd's brain is at is going to help us, you know what I mean, in the near future. Now, the release date thing for Starfield, we can go back and forth about that. Some people are saying March. Shout out to Pong. Some people are saying April, May. It could be in the next 3 or 4 months. There's even some rumblings now. Once again, not confirming this, but if you look hard enough, there's some people saying maybe even it's delayed till September, November. I hope not, but once again, we'll wait for that news. I don't want to speak on anything or put anything out in the atmosphere before we actually get confirmation. Other than that, though, I'm super excited for the showcase. Another interesting thing I wanted to do in this video too was talk about after the first like 5 to 6 months of this year, because this news is extremely exciting, but it got me thinking, well, up until E3, what happens after that? Right? Like E3 obviously is going to determine a lot. That's going to tell us what's happening in the next 12 months from June forward, from June this year to June 2024. So we'll have more of a clearer picture, but I kind of got thinking about that. Like, I'm thinking of even all the big three, and we don't really know much about, fall and winter of this year at all, really, from any of the big three. Xbox, from Sony, we don't have a release date for Spider-Man. Obviously, we're probably going to get that. Even some of the third-party stuff. So that kind of got me thinking, man. And a developer direct like this for Xbox gets the year started off right for Xbox. They get out the door first, and this is what you want in a year that's supposed to be super jam-packed. This is probably going to be one of the biggest years for gaming in history based on what we know is supposed to come out. Now, if even 85% of the stuff that's supposed to hit in 2023 actually makes it to 2023, we are in for a huge, huge, huge treat. And I am ready for that. So I'm going to actually go ahead and wrap up this video on that note. But I wanted to break this down just a little bit more, give you guys some of my expectations, why I'm excited, in greater detail about this particular conference, why I enjoy them doing it the way they do it, making the announcements the way they announce it, as well as some of the other stuff, Starfield stuff as well. Can't forget about Redfall, ESO, all of that stuff. I'm super, super excited for that. But let me know how you guys feel about this in the comment section below. Once again, subscribe to the channel. We are on the road to 1,500 subs. We just hit 1,400 subs like 2 or 3 days ago. So shout out to everybody who's been supporting this channel. We're going on 7 years streaming strong here on YouTube. But yeah, subscribe, like if you guys enjoy the content, and I'll be back with more videos soon. Peace out.